Welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And greetings, blessings, salutations, and love once again. Welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott as I get things adjusted again. And yep, I did it again. To all of you who are here and finding your way here at the beginning, bless you in the real time, man. I'm starting early again, so I thought, why not? And there were some folks gathered already in the chat. Blessings to all of you today, sincerely. I'm in love with this adventure today. I'm already prepared. We're going to drop the link. I changed the title and trying to bring clarity and focus with what I'm doing here, the Jack Talcott saga. If you're new, perfect timing. If you've been around, I hope you're coming around, or I'm trusting you're here for a purpose. Everything's coming together. And brothers and sisters, even if you're not here with the live, if you're tuning in later so you can speed me up and listen to it a little faster, I get that, and I honor you as well. But this journey of Jack, I feel it's just the beginning. And I'm filled with inspirations again today to share. A lot of ideas floating around in this noggin of mine. And my heart, man, my heart is just overflowing with love, with joy, with fun. And I'm grateful to all of you who tune into this adventure, or if you click the link later, and I do plan on clicking the link later. But the goal today, again, actual conversations. And where I was going, I edited the title. It's today. It's Saturday. We're going to do an openish panel opportunity again today. We'll allow a little freedom, a little bit of hangout. Jack won't be so trying to be controlling, but at the same time, we're going to get through some topics. I want to share some inspiration, some encouragement, some true love for life that I've been finding and growing. I looked for love. I looked for fun in the past. So I thought, boy, wouldn't that be fun what they're doing? Oh, isn't that love special, what they've got? I thought the fun and love were just for other people. And I looked for it all around, man. And by the grace of God, I started learning a few different things. What was the topic? The thumbnail today, right? Here, let's get through the thumbnail because it's perfectly in line with some of the observations of me that I'm going to share today. In the background today, inspired by community, the reminder, fun. Fun is available here. We can have fun when you join these conversations. I know we can. And we get a lot of people that share their triggers. Oh, man, there's plenty of evidence of angry cot. If you haven't seen the angry cot stuff and some of the old lore that was created with me, holy cows, man, triggers were abound. But triggers, your triggers, my triggers, while they might be entertaining when you're a safe distance away, triggers are dangerous. Right? The only way, a trigger, it's only dangerous if you're loaded with something destructive and explosive. But it's true. It isn't the world's obligation to tiptoe around you. And I see people that feel in my presence, they feel like they need to tiptoe around me. And I'm working through that, but that's a side point here. Back to my thoughts, observations, just sharing some lessons from life, reminders that you already know, but just some encouragement for you to bring some more attention to these things for you, because the world around you deserves you at your best. So your mental, your physical, your emotional health, those are your individual responsibility. That could be a burden or that could be an opportunity. But your health is your opportunity to nurture, grow, and share you. But you got to be healthy. And so you get to choose what you consume in your mind and you carry around in your heart. What I've been learning to do personally in this experience that God's allowed us, I've been learning how to surrender. Surrender my attachments. So I'm encouraging you, surrender your attachments to find your freedom. It's the topic of today. Surrender the attachments and whatever does not serve you. If it's not bringing joy and value and growth into your life, it's time to reevaluate. Your time here on earth is short. You are special. You're unique. The world we live in this capitalist society, wants to turn everybody into numbers. You know, people get thrown away. So be willing to surrender. Surrender your attachments and whatever does not serve you, to allow yourself, and this is all you're doing, you're allowing yourself to be led with the divine aspects of faith, of inspiration, of love. Allow those things to lead you through your day, and you'll find peace in your heart. This is my experience. Because here, this is the Talcottian adventure, right? I was thinking about this, man. I have been living this friggin' adventure in my life since 2018. It's been an adventure in my mind and in my heart, but I really haven't done much or changed much. Nothing in the appearance, in the immediate environment has changed, despite my best efforts. But this adventure I'm living, while you're living your life, I'm living mine, right? And so this time, the Jack Talcott live stream, what I'm doing is I'm just sharing me, right? This is my time to get to share me with you. And I'm as fascinated as many of you. What's Jack gonna do? What's he gonna say, man? Because sometimes I say things, it's like, whoa, where'd that come from? And then if there's also some pretty good gems in there when things click and I make sense. Praise God, man. So I get to share Jack Talcott for a couple of hours, and we open it up and we see how I interact with other human beings. And man, there's been a diversity of personalities and characters that have come through since I've been doing this live stream stuff. Man, it's been an adventure. Holy cows, man. Praise God. But these are the ways that some adventures are lived. I'm not scaling mountains, kayaking the wilderness. I'm not conquering the wilderness. I'm not doing those things. But in my mind and in my heart, what I'm hoping to do is to play a part in the light, in this spiritual battle that's been conducted here on earth. Because I know many people have found themselves in darkness, losing hope, getting angry, losing faith, feeling depressed. I know that there's a battle that we're all going through, and each of us karmically, we're at our own path, at our own time, right? In our own stages of development. But a couple of things I'll probably drop the link, and then in the description is a couple of videos I was inspired by earlier today. One of them, once again, was Shunyamurti. And his explanations were a little bit kind of, he's kind of a, I don't know how to describe it, very intellectual, and his background is very, very interesting. The perspectives of his philosophy. So I allowed myself to go on a mind trip with someone with an enlightened perspective. And he was talking about the levels of consciousness. And I kind of want to talk about that a little bit today too, because the prison, the limits that we actually each find, there's physical limits, and then there's like intellectual limits and intellectual barriers that each of us are dealing with. But we're all of the same mind. From the one universal mind comes the collective mind, which generates the individual mind. And my mind is your mind, if you allow it. And because we share the mind of understanding, we each have logic, we each have reasoning. We just have different definitions and different meanings for different things. This life you are living and I am living, this life we are sharing, it's a glorious unfoldment of everything. And you're a part of everything, as am I. We're a part of this time of history here on Earth. And I'm of the belief, here we are. I'll swing it back to me from the greater picture, back to the unique. Today, March 1st, right? We're starting a new month. And 2025 is still in its newness. We don't know where the year's going to take us. We don't know what the governments are going to do. We don't know what the economics are going to do. You might have an idea of what your partner or your family might do, but then again, people will surprise you. So 2025, man, the Jack Talcott story. As I said, I'm just like you. I'm fascinated. What's he going to do? What's he going to do, man? Because the time is ticking. March 1st, I've got till the 23rd at midnight as I understand the paperwork I've been served for my housing, for the mantle behind me. Holy cows, man. What's going to happen? I don't know. I do not know. I used to worry and fear the first few times I went through this situation. But this is what life brings, man. Praise God, sincerely. The God of all things. It's there. It's with you. You don't have to understand it. You don't have to accept it. But I encourage you to. Talking about God. What is life? Here, I'm going to do this so I can feel appropriate. It is Saturday. I haven't gone too long, but I'm going to I'll create the opportunity for those who are available and wish to try and participate with Jack. You're welcome to join the panel and the conversations. The ideas I have, some of them are coming from this discussion from Shunyamurti, as I said. Here. The levels of consciousness, each of us. We all possess the mind and the awareness of who we've been, who we are, and there's no denying, right? What you've been through is what's true. Mostly, sometimes, but sometimes it's not. The mind can be deceiving. So anyway, from his definition, a reminder, life has been observed. It's what it is. It's an awareness of one state of consciousness after another. One state of consciousness after another is what life is. Now, each of us, we can all relate to the waking state here and now, right? We're actively participating in the day. We're awake. And then we have the dream state where in our mind we're experiencing, but the body is where it is. And then there's the deep sleep state where you are, but you have no awareness of your isness, of your are-ness, of your being. In the deep sleep state, you are no body, no being. Each of us, we just disappear, man. Even our senses are diminished, as I've heard from studies. But so the idea of the yogis and the practice of meditation, it's to bring that space, to bring all those levels together. The dream state, the awake state, and the deep sleep state. You bring all of those together into the present. Because in the dream state, all things are possible. There is no form, there is no limitations, there's only that which is interpreted, received. And so if you can combine your waking state into that state of all things are unfolding and it is what it is, and then be in the deep state where you are no body, no being. The selfless state of being is what the Buddhic practices are for. The selfless state of being is what Jesus demonstrated through story, through character, through being willing to be a tool for God. What a glorious opportunity. See, what I've been recognizing is our ego, the character, the identity of who I am, who you are, right? We each possess these individuated memories and beliefs of consciousness. My ego it limits the infinite. The ego within us limits the infinite. The infinite is the eternal spirit. The eternal spirit is the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is that which Jesus embodied and demonstrated. And that Holy Spirit is with you, it's with me when we get our worries, our fears, our conditioned anxiousness. When we break those patterns, we become free. Freedom! Freedom! From the past, from the battle, from the worry. Surrender that shit, man. Let love win. It's up to you. The ego limits our infinite and eternal spirit. The infinite and eternal spirit is with you. It's those it's those inner ideas to serve, to give. It's when the universe brings opportunities to share. That's where the eternal spirit shines. For the light shines through those united with God. When we step away from God, that's where the darkness starts to arise. And when the darkness moves us, our anger, our fear, our lust, our jealousy, whatever, man. When people are moved by darkness, they get ugly in their behavior. Each of us has an opportunity to align ourselves with the highest mind, the divine mind. There's a connection to the divine mind and the highest mind through you. the practice is to learn how to get over you, to get past you, past your limited knowledge, to explore into the darkness of your what do I not know. And those who are, the world we live in, man, it is so backwards, so backwards. Here, so the idea was, Shunyamurti, that video link is in the description, and there is another video. What did I do? There's another video in the description from Kyle Cease. Now, this one, I'm tempted to play it, to share it, because the guy is I believe he's a very gifted communicator. And this video, Your Safety Has Finally Arrived, he describes kind of my personal experience of I had normalized, I didn't realize I'd done this in the past. I had normalized worry. When I wasn't worried or anxious, things didn't feel right. Feeling at peace felt weird. And so, hey, we've got, sorry, my laptop is funking up. It's getting funky on me. But we have a guest here, which I'm trusting. Welcome, Sam. How are you?
Hi, can you hear me?
I do. Welcome to you.
This is only my second time going up on panel, so I'm just learning the technicality, so I hope it's coming through okay.
Your sound is wonderful, and it's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much. I'm Sam High, by the way. I know I came in as Sam, but new addition to your group. I've been following you for a while, and I wanted to talk to you, if I could, about life coaching. I'm very interested in life coaching myself. And, I've done the Wayne Dyer and the Louise Hayes and the Tony Robbins and all of that good stuff. And the reason I'm mentioning all of this is because I have a question about your chats and how you conduct your chats, okay? Because I've been watching for a while, and in the past few days, there's been some controversy about maybe some people being timed out or whatever, okay? And I heard yesterday, El Perro got up and Richard got up talking about concerns about that type of thing. And I understood what El Perro was saying, that he was saying that people should just express themselves and then you get to know who they are for who they really are. But I kind of have a different take on that. I've been a moderator myself, and mods are supposed to protect the streamer. They're supposed to protect the viewers from attack. And I look at what TC has been doing as a good thing, because he's trying to create a positive atmosphere in your chat. And I saw that some of the mods were kind of in disagreement with that. And so I thought if I came up and explained why I think it's a good thing, maybe it'd be helpful to understand that. I don't know. The way I look at it is it's about respect. And I know that your show is all about love and peace and tolerance, and we can all do better. The message that you're sending out is all positive messaging. And I'm afraid it gets lost if people disrespect you. And so I think I don't know how you feel about it, because I know you want to be tolerant and share love with everyone. But I just feel that you should be respected. And I think all streamers should be, because if the streamer is not respected in their chats, they lose credibility, because you know, they from a viewer standpoint, I would think like if the streamer doesn't stand up for himself or allow his mods to stand up for him, or if the mods don't stand up for them, I mean, there's whatever the case may be, you can lose respect that way. And I don't mean just you, I just mean in general. And I just wanted to share that I think it's really important for mods to be protective of their streamer.
Sam,
So,
thank you. Can I offer feedback here? Because I honor you. I appreciate the willingness. This is what we can all do. We may not be directly involved in the battle, but if we're seeing what's going on, maybe we can bring that reminder of, hey, there may be reasons, and what if this is a purpose, and what if we work towards that purpose? So it takes a leader to stand up. Thank you, Sam.
thank you for letting me speak my mind. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you. Thank you.
Blessings. You're welcome to stick around or whatever. The topic today was some things I've learned about surrender. Surrender for freedom, for a purpose, for renewal. The ego within us, the personality, oh, we're so afraid of losing. If anyone's like me, you get real pissed off when you lose, maybe a little embarrassed, frustrated, disappointed. Oh, losing sucks, man. You got to learn how to have fun either way. That's actually what I realized. God kept allowing me to lose. And I got so tired of losing. And then I realized I was losing because I was fighting. And then I got tired of fighting. And I've been learning the blessings of peace, of surrender. Because actually, Sam, you're here and now, but earlier today I was sincerely inspired. I was thinking of the idea of prophecy, the fulfillment of prophecy. And I don't have this stuff pulled up, but the idea of Isaiah, where he's talking about a total change. The wolf will live with the lamb, the leopard with the goat, calf and lion. Little child will lead them. This totally transformed world. That's the prophecy, I believe, is available. And the return of Christ, I believe it's us. Not by religion, but by behavior, by practice. Are we living with love of one another? Are we living with love of life? Or are we absent from that? Because love of life, I believe, is the gift. It's the light of God. So we're born
Absolutely.
into thank you. We were born into a generation. Generations have been deceived. But the idea of the return of Christ, how is it going to be? I don't believe it's going to be this powerful, punishing idea that's completely different. There is justice, though. There's no denying justice. The day of judgment will be a day where the truth is no longer denied, where each of us, we will be judged by the truth of who we've been, how we treated each other, what we did. This day of judgment, that's actually what I went through on my own personal path of personal development, self-development. I had to judge myself honestly, righteously, but with compassion. And with that, I could change. So there's a lot of evidence that supports my idea that it's possible. God has created me to play this role leading us to the return of Christ's kingdom, actually, to claim the kingdom of Christ from the evil that's been enabled. I feel prepared. I feel prepared, but I don't know what's possible. I
I think
sincerely, please go ahead. I welcome you.
life is a journey, like you say, and you don't know what's ahead. We just have to take one day at a time. And I know for myself in the past couple of years, I've gone through a lot of changes. As you experience things in life, you learn to be a better person, hopefully, and it helps clear your path for you, as I'm finding. The more you learn, the better the person you become, the easier your path becomes.
It's really that simple. We'll
Mm.
be tested, we'll be challenged, no doubts. But I found and recognized the patterns. When I stop caring, it's simple and obvious, though, too. When I stop carrying around my battles and my memories, I could find peace. And when I found peace, holy cows, whoa, there's a lot to be grateful for, buddy. No
Yes.
reason to be upset.
Hmm.
Well, I believe that we, you're here with me today, Sam, and I don't know your past. I can imagine many possibilities from the many people I've met, but I'm confident that we are here. We are the return. This guy, Kyle Cease, and like I said, I might play a little bit of his message today is very inspiring. March, your safety has finally arrived. Each of us, we're all in this together. And as we unite together, finding ways to work together for greater purposes, our world is so ready to transform. So I was wondering, as it's written, if you take the Bible for what it is and you say there may be a true, right? How would this be true? The day of judgment, the day of the Lord, the day of the return of Christ. Christ becomes king. All these things happen the same time, and we don't know the day, we don't know the hour, but consider that God has given us individually and collectively the mind of free will. When we unite together for the truth, that's actually what the criminal courts are supposed to be about, right? It's supposed to be community members uniting together to figure out what is true. How do we restore justice? I believe we have the opportunity to create this day of judgment through the collective. We unite together as the body of Christ, knowing that truth is on our side and it is truth that we seek. It's time for government disclosure, these corporate disclosure. It's time for people to realize what they've been feeding themselves and feeding to their children. It's important for people to wake up.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
I think
Do you
it's
think
us.
that,
Go
do
ahead.
you feel like that we're at the end of times?
It's always beginning and ending.
Mm.
This is the time, though. I believe this is the time of prophecy. I believe the prophecies are being fulfilled through us. Hey, and Sam, I'm not sure, how long have you been along? Are you familiar with our friend Tommy?
Oh, yes.
He's arrived to share his energies. I think we could have some fun together.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for Tommy.
Beautiful. Welcome, Tommy. How are you, brother?
Then she would know I'm not your friend. But we are at the end of a lot of days. We're at the end of your daddy's days. We're at the soon to be end of your days. And we're going to have a lot of fun doing it, Jack. Now, why do you half-ass this scripture thing? Are you just cherry picking what you like? Like, yes, I believe we are at the end of days, beginning of days. God's going to do it, but it's through us. You are
Yes.
Antichrist, bro.
No, please. Make sure you
Yes,
understand
yes, yes,
what I'm
yes.
saying. Make sure you understand what I'm saying.
Make
Okay?
sure you understand what that book says you claim to study.
I've said that book, the Bible, when I went to it, it
Careful,
explained what I
careful.
was experiencing. It gave my heart confirmation that I'm on the right path, that this is what you can expect.
So your emotions gave you confirmation you're on the right path.
How about the absent? Yes, in part. It is
Okay, well,
awareness
you and
of
I
my
have covered,
emotions.
that that book says do not trust your emotions or your, well, not your intelligence, but alleged man's intelligence. Neither of those things are the clues or the path. But in New Age, if you
They're
just
from.
admitted that you're a New Age guru, you'd be
Hold
right
on.
on par, wouldn't you?
Maybe, whatever. This new age thing, I don't know where I fit in, honestly. I
You
don't.
fit in perfectly with the New Age thing. It's why you
Okay.
seek daddies
All
through
right.
Joe Dispenza and others.
Yeah. Well, I'm a philosopher, I guess, by my practice. I love wisdom. And it all comes
And
back
that's why it's
to
so
what
fleeting, right?
I've said, what Joe Dispenza and what everyone else of what they're teaching, it comes back to what Jesus was teaching and what Jesus embodied. And I don't even know if that's the correct name for him, but it's the one I
Because
grew up with.
you're lost in this YouTube sauce. That's what I warned you and others about.
I don't let it stop me. My lack of my admitted mix of understanding, I don't let it stop me from
I
having
think you should go with lack. Go with lack.
I have an intimate relationship with Christ and with
No,
God.
you do not, sir.
You don't experience me.
Your experience is emotions. Are we gonna loop this?
Tommy,
Jack,
there's
you
no,
always say, what's God's plan for me? How do I know this? How do I know that? You backstage me every time I'm trying to tell you. And it's not me saying I'm this perfection, this expert. It's just more than you. And maybe I was put into your so-called life for you to show God you're going to boot me out of here. You're going to let Jubilee question me, but not let me back up to answer her. And your time is short, just like I'm about to pound a few nails in your daddy's metagrave on my next stream.
Tom. I'm actually a huge fan of yours, and I hope that
Yeah,
you.
and I hate you. And
I
I'm
know.
trying to give you the chance to change that, and you refuse to.
I'm working on it. I really am.
No, you're not. You're working. Okay, I'm going to decipher your language for people because when you're saying we don't understand you and you wish that you're my fan, you're saying, why doesn't everybody just agree with me? Why doesn't everybody tell me that I'm right? Jack, don't play this comment sharing bullshit with me.
What
These
did I
people are
do?
garbage that you look to for backing. And where was your boy Hank yesterday? Sitting over on Gen X Jeff, avoiding backing your dumbassery because he's his own dumbassery.
I went and supported Gen X Jeff too for a little bit after
Yeah,
this.
you support all kinds of Satanists and atheists, and you look for autistic people to back you.
Tom,
Um,
Tom, remember what Jesus
Good
said?
question, R. Poll. Can anyone honestly like the stream? I'd conjecture
I,
probably not.
I think they can. I think people can like the stream, Tom,
Oh,
especially when you're here.
they can click like and it might make them liars before baby Jesus.
Dude, how can you not like this? I mean, I guess I can
Oh,
find
people
that.
love that's why I come back. People say, please, Tom, go up and wreck Jack some more. We
Well,
love it.
right, but here's the deal. Our paths crossed for a reason. There's no denying that. And I'm sorry for the
Yeah.
disrespect. that I share
No,
towards.
you're not. No, stop.
I
You're
do.
not, because all you do is disrespect people day in and day out, not just me. And then you think that just that one skate, oh, I don't mean to disrespect. Well, you do. It's exactly what you mean to do.
Actually, I have reasons for my choices. I don't always choose
Right.
the one that people like.
Because reasons.
Right. Reasons.
Now the difference between some of us that watch is some of us can read those reasons pretty easy, like a book.
I challenge, you make assumptions often.
No, you never let me explain myself and then call it an assumption. And then when we let you explain yourself, you don't seem to do it.
Because you're in
There
denial.
we go. There we go. Now that Kundalini spirit's kicking in, ain't it? It knew it had to get on the clock.
No, I was releasing energy, releasing tension. Feels good.
Yeah, that tension is understanding as much as you wish to block it out.
No,
That anxiety, brother. Do you know why I'm still going like day one when your daddy has to quit over bodily pain? Because I just surf the truth, baby. I just ride the tide of truth. And sometimes I fall off this surfboard, but I have used minimal energy compared to those who struggle against me.
Hey,
keep sharing them, Jack. They're relevant. Keep showing us who means absolutely nothing out here. You rely on all-time chatters and their zero credibility.
Tom,
do you know how many of those chatters is Sammy Samsonite? Do you know how many he has? Not much less Dr. D-Head. Dr. D-Head's 4 chatters easy.
Tom, you get placed in the back because you don't allow
Did you just backstage that nice old lady?
I did not. Yeah, I won't make assumptions, but it could be she got bored of sitting back listening to the Tommy show.
Oh, bored?
You don't let other people speak, dude. Holy cow.
That's not true at all. You're speaking right now.
I've been, praise God. Let me come back. This is humbuggery, a mental boogery.
Yeah, that's you, Jack. I don't care what these faggots say. Don't you get it? The more you share their bullshit, the more it shows you rely on.
I friggin' love you, Tommy, but your assumptions of my intentions are mistaken. I was actually thinking about this earlier. It was a little bit of neck popping, and Tommy called me out. It's nothing magical, but you know what? Do this. No, if you want to feel good, some ways I found sincerely. Move. Get mobility in your spine. Bring your mind into your body and feel the movement of vertebrae to vertebrae, loosening up the motion, because your spine is connected to your mind. And when you've got an open spine and an open mind, man, life is just unfolding. It's magical, especially when you feel good. And if you can surrender your battles, you can feel the joy and peace of freedom. Here, Tommy got impatient, tired of waiting, but we've got another guest. Welcome, Zatoichi. How are you today, brother?
Hello, how are you? What happened to Tommy? Where'd he go?
Well, I put him in the back because I wanted to share that comment about mobility in the spine and feeling good.
Oh.
And then he left. But here, this is a beautiful reminder. This comment here, not to keep you waiting, but times are changing quick. And here, I'm going to ask for support from people who care. Keep reminding me and keep me on track. I think a better plan for Jack Talcott and the live stream. I'm feeling good, and I don't feel like stopping the 7 days a week, but I'm thinking Monday through Friday. That's a good routine. Get back into. Monday through Friday, we'll keep the topic more serious, more intentional, and purpose driven. But Saturday and Sunday, I think today we'll just kind of hang out a bit, and see how it goes.
What do you think of Trump yelling at Zelensky the other day?
I understood it. I saw what they were doing. I think it was a poor representation for peace. What are your thoughts?
I don't really know enough about the situation to have any thoughts. I mean, I do know that we've spent a lot of money on the Ukraine, and for what, I'm not exactly sure, but it's Trump wasn't happy with Zelensky, and neither was Vance, because he seemed ungrateful, but at the same time, who knows what his issues were, and he didn't really get to speak.
He seemed ungrateful because of what he did or what was said?
Well, because of what was said. He was coming across as like almost expecting the U.S. to have done what they did.
I'm sorry, can you say that one more time?
He came across as though he was expecting the U.S. to do what we did, as opposed to being thankful for us doing it,
There's a lot of pieces in history. I don't know what Zelensky knows or doesn't know. I know I'm certainly no expert. But in times of war, when an ally says they're there, but it's been provoked. I mean, the U.S. led the U.S. had so many opportunities to use diplomacy before and after the aggression started with Russia and Ukraine. But see, diplomacy, it doesn't seem to be the purpose. They just use diplomacy for acts of aggression. They're still conspiring nation to nation, trying to dominate each other. The game of NATO. I mean, all of the states are involved in this shit. So between Zelensky and Trump, and what's the vice guy? Is it Vance?
Yeah.
He's another friggin', I don't know much about that guy. I haven't given him much attention at all, the vice president. But it's an enabler, right? Egoic enabler. I saw him and Trump kind of feeding on each other, building each other's supremacy to diminish the representative of another nation. And the whole idea that this discussion for the U.S. to take over the resources of that nation. I mean, this is like extortion and mafia games being played out on public TV. And serious, it is. That's what our governments have become. They were infiltrated by the secret society, by the mob organizations into these ideas of criminal activity. The government is divided against the people are divided against the government, and the governments distract those divisions by creating more divisions within the nation. And then in the meantime, it's funding the militarization, the self-destruction of mankind. It's happening. And we're a part of it. Praise God, man. Praise God. I have a theory that God has created me for this purpose. I know how it sounds. I truly believe that Donald Trump, his family, the citizens of the United States, and I believe citizens of the world, they'll all be grateful when I speak with him. When he and I finally meet, and he starts to understand this vision of peace and prosperity and just true abundance for mankind, when he starts to see that vision from his position in Washington, D.C. and his connections, woo, baby, it's all possible. It's all possible when we unite ourselves with God.
Play the link in the back and tell Carl to sit down for this if he's not ready for it. Play it.
Well, give me just a moment. I'm kind of slow with this. You're not going to get...
I want to show you how much you're on par with your politics.
Hold on. It's coming. Thank you for your patience.
Oh, Kundalini fingers harder. Maybe that'll help.
Should I share the link?
I left one link.
Should I share the link in the public?
No, yeah. Play it on the screen. Idiot.
All right. I'm slow. I'm getting there. Here we go.
BIZNESS. We have a little saying, beautiful. You know, out here in the business, BIZNESS, we have a little saying, you can't make this shit up. You can't write this shit. And the way I'm always flipping it on these truthers is that implication is, oh, you can't make this stuff up. You can't write this shit. Because that's exactly what's being done. It is written. It is planned for the most part. And I don't mean every little fucking time a truther stubs his toe it was planned. I mean, the planned thing is overall broad stroke, and all the minor stuff has nothing to do with it. They can just let it go. But I woke up this morning getting ready to check out. I hear on the news, suddenly all overnight, all in the switching of a day, now the Zelensky presidency, and mind you, just like Republicans love to point out Barack Osama and push that Osama in his name. Now Vladimir Zelensky suddenly has the similar sounding first name as Putin, as they challenge his legitimacy of president. I mean, challenging Zelensky's presidency, the legitimacy of Zelensky, it's a new thing. It's new to challenge Zelensky's legitimacy as presidency. It's like somebody was just installed into a high-paying leadership role. I personally thought like he wouldn't have survived this war with his installation. But the legitimacy of Zelensky as presidency, I don't know where they're getting that. You can't make this shit up, you know? You see what I did there? See it? Guys, you get it? You get it, guys? Yeah. You know, out here in the big...
Oh, my God.
Now, keep in mind that every time the media has shown him, they make sure that he's always in his green turtleneck military sweater, except for when he needs to not be wearing it. So do you see how suddenly one visit to the White House, hey, you're overreaching your bounds, dude, you leather bondage, high-heeled cross-dresser. That, yes, fat-ass Bexy did the bit playing the piano with his dick. I'm the only one that can do that in real life. Well, me and Jaren, I hear.
You carry some of that big dick energy. There's no denying that.
It comes natural.
Well, and that's what I was thinking about you the other day.
Can I get a no homo, Jack?
No homo. No homo.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Especially good. See, good call. Let me just real quick, a couple of shout outs.
Yeah, more irrelevant chats. Yeah.
Talcott every day. Hard hat. Good to see you, brother. Back to you. You've been blessed. I'm making the assumption that the things you do very well. right? If you put your mind to something.
I don't think that's an assumption. I think you bear witness to it for damn near 3 years, whether you memorize it or not.
I'm making the assumption that it carries offline into other areas as well.
Definitely. But I think also now we know you're projecting. When you tell us we're making assumptions, you're projecting.
I'm often right. Hey, we've got another guest here.
Jack, no, don't go there.
we've got another guest here, but you said something I wanted to swing back to. You've said a lot of things I wanted to swing back to. Holy cows! Oh, that
content
video
machine. What can I say?
The video, the message. Yeah, it's a stage. It's a game. It's a sick tragedy comedy that's being played out. I understand why God created us. We're fascinating. Fucking stupid people are just
no, that's toilet bowl earth bullshit.
All
to
right.
Take this beautiful flawed creation and say it's a toilet bowl, and then whenever he comes up after me battling you for God knows how long to save your soul, all he's got is, I think follow the 10 commandments. Wait till I show what that dude's followed me around on.
People reveal themselves. Welcome, Tarek. How are you, brother?
I'm doing great, Jack. How are you? Tommy, how are you?
If you change your name to T-Rec, it's like it's an homage to me. Like, get 'em, Tom. Wreck them, T.
No, but I agree with you on toilet bowl. Yeah, toilet bowl is, I don't even know what the word to describe him anymore. It's like, I don't know. Tom, you take over on that one.
He's an alcoholic. He never leaves his stuff up, and even when he did, he's shown that he's obviously oblivious to his history online, and I'm going to remind him.
What's
that? What was that?
You have a mind and a talent. I think God, I don't know. I'm grateful to meet you.
I might host this next one like I'm King Stephen. I might host it like I'm King Stephen, observing my work. Like, oh, what's this over here? Oh, this must be one of Illumitomi's painting. Oh, he's not happy with Jack Talcott. What is that? Is that Jack Talcott panhandling? Oh, what is that? What is that? Oh, why is he panhandling in a cemetery? Oh, it might be because Paul enslaved said he'd give Jack money over his dead body. Oh.
Holy cows. See, Tom, you and I were actually a lot alike. I know you don't like that idea, but we are. We are.
No, I think you're like a lot of people that like, you like what you're seeing, you're excited, it's new, and you're like, how do I bond myself? How do I make people think I'm that by closening myself to it? Why can't Jack just be his own thing and stand on that instead of looking for Antons and Pauly Boys and now Illumitomis to attach to?
No, that's the wrong idea.
Maybe President Trump will elevate Jack to where he's trying to be.
Actually, it might not be the right time, but Kyle Cease, that link
Don't
is in
throw your daddies in between you and I. Don't throw your daddies in between us. The guy I'm always saying I love him, Maggie, always have. I don't want to disrespect him because in the moment I'm brain farting his name. He killed it yesterday, man. He got you. He got you good.
Well,
yeah, Richard Hawkins. He got you yesterday, and then what'd you give him for getting you? You booted him out of here.
See, you've got this mind
he
of God.
He had no use to you, so you were done with him.
You're going, in this near future, you're going to realize a few things, and you're going to look back and be like, now I get it.
That's me.
Possibly.
Like, now that your daddy's metaversally dead, people think, oh, so it's over, right? No, we're just getting started. Hey. And here we go.
Well, here, regarding the absence of our co-creator,
he's mine.
Regarding the absence of Paul, I actually, in my ego, I wondered, should I do 2 a day to fill in that time slot? You
Oh,
know?
I don't think people could take this much comedy, and I don't have the time to come. I don't have the time to visit you 2 a day. If you didn't notice, except for the exception of playing the Zelensky short, just like your daddy, I'm giving you one backstage and I'm gone, and I'll let your audience work it out.
All right. Well, here, please recognize that the real reason you get backstaged is when you don't allow me to speak. That's our biggest
You see
disagreement.
what you look for.
You're right. And maybe I do.
And every
Maybe I do
time
watch
I
that.
have months and months of you saying I don't let you speak as I sit there as you explain I don't let you speak.
You and I, we've had our challenges and, misunderstandings. But I'm
Minimal
grateful
for me.
you're here.
I don't
I
really have
really,
challenges. I just have timelines.
amen. And this
You guys
time,
are all a walk in the park whenever I'm on the right side of this spiritual war. My challenge is sometimes my Father in heaven says, not yet. And even if you don't hear me saying not yet, I'll just fail you till it's time for that to succeed. You think me and my dad aren't the reason that Paul feels pain and he's finally giving up because those numbers go up, but nothing changes. And Jack, even you and I's numbers, it's hard to compare them because you had them purchased as well. It's like an abomination to any kind of actual analytics.
Tom, you can't use that against me forever. And it wasn't
No, it's
me.
not. I'm not
I
using it
didn't
against you. I'm
choose.
only pointing out the isness of it. Like when you watch your numbers fluctuate in a highly volatile sense, we can't be sure what the original numbers are.
Agreed. But in the last month, there was some attention and a little bit of growth. I believe it was organic, not purchased. I think there's more people kind of turning in. Some of it's to see the chaos. I recognize
I
that.
think most of it is.
That's where people start. I get it. People love and hate
And maybe it's not the chaos. Maybe they don't like the chaos as much as watching you getting corrected and them feeling like they benefit from watching your correction.
I think
for
it's
whatever
both.
reason. Yes, please, Tarek. Go ahead and jump in if you got
Yeah, no,
something.
and I think Jack, the numbers probably went up as well because I think maybe 3 factors, right? Paul's not on as much, so people are waiting to go on the broadcast, and I
A
also
lot
believe
of daddy
you got
searchers out here. A lot of kids
and
looking for a new daddy. You're right.
yeah, well, and then you got also Daisy's coming in with her funny and I don't know
Oh,
character
Daisy
and
wrecked it too. Yeah, Richard and Daisy both came in and worked Jack over whether they realized it or not.
well, I mean, Daisy can probably beat up Snafu, Jack, probably me. She's a good woman, though. I think I think she means well. I just, yeah.
Me and Daisy have always been cool.
Here,
Regardless of like Truther Cop's going back to his old destroyer ways, the same way he's the new moose over here. And I'm gonna hit you hard, Truther Cop. I'm tired of this lukewarm back and forth with you. You're offending me and it makes me spit you out, Truther Cop. I'm gonna hit you hard next time, but you're not on the priority scale right now. But just keep doing your little cuck moose thing, Truther Cop. You'll learn. But yeah, he plays that Link as if Daisy wrecked me. The only reason I was mean to Daisy that night is she was getting in between me and G. Abbott.
I friggin' love you. I lost it.
Shut up.
You reminded me of an inspiration I had
I
earlier.
love you like your family, Jack.
You test my patience so well.
I trigger your ego.
You do. And I'm learning how to minimize my damage. Hey, I want to respond. Who would want to be president? This is actually, I never in my life wanted leadership. I never wanted to stand out, but my life brought me with the union. I found myself as president, and I played vice president and president And the vice president, that's actually the better place to be in an organization because you don't have all the responsibility, but you get to be a co-part. That was my experience.
That explains you perfect. You were looking for the highest tier of power with the most minimal responsibility.
Yes, that's what smart people do.
I
Welcome,
agree.
Jubilee.
No.
That's what smart people do, dude. You
Right.
you capitalize and maximize your results with the minimal effort. That's what.
No, that's not what I just described. You were looking for the least work and responsibility while sitting in the highest throne, if you will.
Yeah, I preferred the vice president, but I did good as the president. I think I did.
I really doubt that you tried to incorporate that mumbo jumbo into the union system. That makes out for a rightful termination, Jack.
You don't have the pieces put together right. Okay,
That's what you say, but we've been over it, and within time, I'll show that we've been over it. Did you get fired from the union? Did you get fired from the union?
No, I resigned from the union.
Did you get terminated from the union?
I resigned from my union elected position, and then I was decertified as a shop steward, so I couldn't even really do much to represent myself. So,
was it because you tried to incorporate this mindfulness, Joe Dispenza type stuff into the union system?
No. Although
was it, Jack, standing before God, Jack? Don't lie to me.
Here, no.
Okay, then that means a previous time you were lying.
What?
You're talking to the lore master, Jack. You're talking to the lore master. Sometimes I ask questions I already know the answer to, Jack. I might even have the receipts already.
Tom,
Jack,
truly appreciate this, the way the conversation is unfolding, and I appreciate the attention and questions, but I actually want to be respectful. Last time I think Jubilee was here, chaos emerged and she saw her way out. But Jubilee, if you've got anything, you're welcome. Let's give you a chance.
Thanks, Jack. I came up to have a conversation about breaking the fifth wall of reality.
Ooh.
That I think that is possibly what you do and what I do that makes people uncomfortable. Like breaking the fourth wall in a movie. There are a lot of aspects of our current reality that are believed very passionately that aren't true. And until people are willing to look at each of the groups that we're part of, each of the ideologies we belong to, the values, the belief systems, we're in mega trauma, fighting mega trauma. But there's certain truths that sound different depending on what side of different political divides or value divides you're on. Watching people who what has gone on in Israel since October 7th, and watching many people either ignore it, which not my game, or I didn't know the plight of the Palestinian people before October 7th. I didn't like Israel. I boycotted Israel. I knew enough to do that, but I didn't fully understand. I didn't see them as individuals. I didn't follow any on social media. I didn't know any Canadians that had immigrated from Palestine that at least were open and honest about it. But I know a lot of Israelis, a lot of Jewish people, all of whom are beautiful, amazing human beings who I love and cherish and are like instrumental in monumentous parts of my life. And watching Israel kill children and journalists and bomb hospitals and keep lying and projecting and watching people okay it while they're
someone's MSMing.
has been mind-breaking, heartbreaking, and yet there's people who see anyone standing up for a child in Gaza as you saying terrorists.
Well, Jubilee, I have to question your narrative because whenever you described what I was up here saying the other day after I was gone backstage and couldn't speak for myself, you did not display my message with the wording of what I was saying.
Oh,
So
I'm never
you're
gonna do
receiving an MSM message that's conforming your opinion of Israel, Gaza, Palestine, and I think you do better off just to ignore it altogether and stay tentative to your AO.
Tom, please don't assume where the perception
No
comes
assumption here, faggot.
But the other part is
Don't disrespect me, bitch. I'm giving you content and you're rejecting it at all fucking
I
times.
know. Well, healthy discussions. What Jubilee was pointing at
Do
is
not happen here.
They can, and they do.
No, not with you on the helm.
They can, and they do.
Now, let me ask you something. You've also had that muzzy bastard backing you. He's always kicked me off his channel saying, you come here to say faggot nigger to ruin me in the algorithm. Why'd he show up on your show last time saying faggot nigger?
Would you please pause?
The machine cries.
He's not
the lie machine.
He's not. You know what?
Why does Tommy project his hateful violence onto you? I've seen you lose your shit. I've seen you regain it. And I've seen you apologize for it, even when you haven't. The next time the person comes on, he's just says hate speech and calls it Jesus.
It's
what claiming you're doing that?
Jubilee, thank you. And this is what I've been tested. I've been frustrated by many examples like that. And what I've been learning is that's a reflection of me. I've jumped to conclusions. I've controlled the narrative. I've been insulting to others. And we're all here in this life. We do and we don't choose who's in our experience. But we can't let others dim our light. And it makes sense, honestly, if we devote ourselves to goodness, right? If you take the example of Jesus, and you can accept that's the perfect example, it's going to make sense that the more you try to align with that, you're going to be tested. I said something along these lines in a comment recently I sought to grow in faith. God allowed me to be tested, right? And we learn our strength, our individual strength, when people betray us, when they don't come in when we need them, when they're not there. That's when we learn our individual strength. And so that's what I've been looking at the past 7 years for. It's been a refinement of me. Jack, you say you want to be better. How committed to this are you? If you can allow me to keep going a little bit here, because today, March 1st, I woke up this morning with the recognition the 23rd is not far away. You know, and that's where the relationship with me and this home are supposed to end. So I woke up this morning a little, what do? I know from experience I cannot allow worry to overcome me. I know that my fears will get in the way of me finding answers and presenting the inspirations that I want to share. But I believe it's possible. When we, the people, unite together for the purposes of the truth, we can demand disclosure from the governments, from the corporations. We can demand reforms. And I've wondered, this might be how these families of generational wealth, they've studied the laws of everything. They may be using the power of evil. They may be using the power of darkness to do their deeds, but each of us Oh, the way the evil has control is by convincing good people to do evil deeds. If you can convince someone who's confused to believe in lies, people will do atrocious things to each other in the name of justice or following orders. And history has repeated that time and again. What Jubilee's pointing at, it's the political economic stage, it's theatrics. It's a lot of pretend, but real human beings, real children, real women, real men, they're being harmed by this nonsense. It's up to us to bring an end.
I think that's breaking the fifth wall, putting people back in it, real individual people that we care about and love.
I'm glad you swung us back around, because I want to understand. I want you to unpack this a little bit more about these walls and the fifth wall that you brought up.
I don't know if I can necessarily explain it and unpack it like for the audience, because I'm still unpacking it myself. But for instance, the word faith, having a conversation about what faith means, because faith in a God brings a great advantage to the individual, to live without fear or live without stress or live without risk, to like take more risk because you can handle living without fear, that kind of thing. When you're in a war zone, you have no choice but to live in faith, to get through the day, to get through having the conversation about what faith means, rather than just demanding faith, which is not in any way what you're doing, but is what religions do. Is like faith is something that is demanded of people, instead of, as it has been done in my life, gifted by God. Like, no, God proves it to you. That's the faith. But and there's a realness to it. But even if God isn't true, people believing in God and going out to the battlefield or having a business or doing something for the sake of that and trusting it allows them to take more risks. And so those people end up having an advantage. Even if there isn't a God, it's not God bestowing that necessarily. And yet there's something here, and I am having faith more in the moment and trust in it. And there, yeah, it's bestowed upon you. It's not the faith I was required in evangelical Christianity from my childhood.
Sorry, can I ask you what the first, second, third, and fourth wall is?
Sorry, breaking the third wall.
No, the first, because you said you're breaking the fifth wall.
Right. Breaking the fourth wall is in theater and movies, when you like talk to the audience, thereby showcasing there is an audience. So the three walls are like the theater, and you're breaking the fourth wall, the screen. Gotcha. Breaking the fifth wall is like we live in the water of reality. So much of who and what we are belief systems that we haven't deconstructed and haven't thought about. And that is what we need to do as adults, is actually realize we're not adults. We're a bunch of traumatized children with people who are traumatized children running our countries, starting World War III. Like, anyway, breaking the fifth wall is like talking about how reality actually is, finding the truth is what I'm looking at for like breaking the fifth wall.
I just wanted to say something a little bit about what you were talking about, the Jews doing to the Palestine, what they're doing to Palestine. And
Israel is doing what they're doing to Palestine.
Israel, yes. Israel,
many Jewish
yes.
people around their world are putting their family, their lives on the line to say that not in my name.
Right. I agree with you. Because there are many sects of Judaism, just like there are many sects of Muslims and many sects of Christians. Nobody can agree on one thing and stay, on the path. I mean, the idea that when the Romans ruled, some people believe the Romans still rule through the Catholic Church. I don't believe they do, because they've been taken over by Jesuits, which happen to be the Jewish sect of Catholicism. But when the Romans were in power, they would eat your children and make you watch. The Jews do it, or the Israel, whatever you want to call them, do it behind your back, right? So, but the people are the same as far as I'm concerned, right? Like for example, took over and destroyed Egypt were the same people that are taking over the world and destroying it today. Mind you, we allow them each time. They don't have any power on the, other than the power we give them,
Right.
right? So it's
Well,
always the
let's do
same
something
people
about
as
it.
far as I'm concerned.
Lou, if we know the problem,
Yes.
why don't we work towards a solution?
Well, I believe there is a solution personally.
Right.
Uh, I mean, you may not like it, but it's my belief and what I think is the only way out, and
Is
that
it
is the
relevant?
way in,
Uh-huh.
right? For you, for me, for anyone, for all of us here, right? The only way out is to take responsibility for yourself and move in a way that doesn't allow evil to take place, despite evil will take place anyway, right? The idea of
Lou,
taking
Lou,
power over
Lou,
your life, taking power over jurisdiction of your life.
Lou, I feel like you're sharing confusion.
Okay.
I don't feel like you're bringing clarity. Talking about problems is one thing. That's what has been normalized in our society. People build a self-confidence by learning information, and then when they can accurately explain who's to blame, well, then they feel good. But this division, and maybe this is where you were going with where Jubilee was going, and you regarding the divisions, all of the
Mm-hmm.
divisions between religions and nation states, it's a bunch of fictional nonsense. I mean, there's truth in there, but our belief that it makes a difference, how one worships God of creation, how they do that is different. Now, what matters is how we treat each other. And throughout time, it's been recorded. There's been like groups of people involved with animal sacrifice and human sacrifice. And I believe it's still being perpetrated today.
Well, that's never stopped.
But we can
I
stop it.
mean, I I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. But I personally don't believe it will ever stop until there's unity in the individual. I
There
mean,
you go.
there is no community without personal sacrifice and personal one man standing for himself and his community and being, you know, being a wall against it and not accepting what's being put out there, right? Being an example to others, right?
Mhm.
Some of the ideas that Paul espouses are those. That's that's the way out.
Right. Hey,
That's
Lou.
the other thing, Lou, is building the fifth or a wall. Maybe not a fifth wall, but building a wall. Because realizing the empire's naked, realizing there's an issue. Um, the solution is to come together and build. We can't come together at 8 billion. We can only come together at small numbers to actually make decisions. And
Right.
when all we know how to do are big scale riot, take them down, demand they do something different. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to. They're also traumatized toddlers who
Yep.
are projecting all their trauma onto other traumatized toddlers running other countries instead
It's
of what you're
exactly.
talking about. Going in is absolutely the solution, and enough of us going in and becoming adult enough, grown up enough that we can work with people who are different in groups that are different and create peace and safety that way, not at nation states at war, but at villages and families that are fighting for peace, teaching our children peace, raising our children for peace, which means raising them to play together, raising them to love one another, not they hate us. Because when we have good versus bad, good allows for so much evil in the name of good. And that's the Bible. That's the story of the beautiful Jewish people of my great grandparents, who, father of nation, father of war. The siblings don't even get along, as they sometimes make horrible decisions and sometimes show virtue and are rewarded. Like the story's there.
Yeah, but you're making a distinction between the Jewish people. I don't believe there are Jewish people. I don't believe there are
Hey,
Muslim
Lou,
people. I don't believe there are
Lou,
Christians. There are just people,
right.
No, I think that's
That's
where
it.
humanity goes to, is that there's
Right?
people, but like
And the
there are
ideology is what we need
individual
to
groups.
understand. The ideologies of these people is what we need to
Well,
understand and stand against, right?
actually, we need
No.
to understand the present moments as they unfold, because
I
individually
could
our
hate the
life.
ideology. Sorry, Jack, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Thank you. Well, individually our life is being unfolded, right? It's important to learn from history, not only individual history, but collective history. But the most important part, and actually the message that I haven't communicated poorly, I haven't communicated well online, but even in these online discussions, whether it's this panel or another panel, that's where life is happening for the people involved and the people tuning in. Life is happening through us. What we think about, what we think about it does and does not matter. It's time for us to unite. I believe that much is clear. We've got to find new ways of humanity living together with each other. Because the past ways, they've been great. They got us to here. I know the world can do better. And right now, the signs of poverty, economic poverty, the way some people are living, man, in the Philippines and South America, there's a reason people are risking their lives, right? Taking these rafts and trying to migrate.
Which is with the decisions that are being made by the toddlers in power all over the world. Money that was going to be band-aids on problems is being ripped away, and there's gushing problems everywhere. And the solution is to come together and actually solve them at the ground level. Listen to the people who are there, get food there, get actual new people that aren't the NGOs that or with the NGOs, like work with the people, the things that are already there, but the money is not there, and we need new
Sorry,
solutions. Every single
Jubilee,
problem
who do you
solution
work?
oriented.
Who have you come together with and work with presently today? Do you have a group of people that you're united with and have a community with, and grow food together and uh, create a different world, the
Lou,
world that you want,
is
rather
this
than to fight?
relevant?
Well,
I
Is
think
this
absolutely it is,
relevant?
Jack. It's
I'll
absolutely
I'll
relevant.
tell you what I
All right.
believe I'm saying. If you don't agree, that's fine. But there's a lot of times it seems that these panels are about uh, trying to fix the problem rather than trying to create a solution. And a solution can't be created with other people. It has to be created within yourself, right?
No,
And
because what
until
you're
you
talking about
create
is
that,
absolutely.
God.
Those solutions are together. Grow food together, raise our children together. We have to be able to, and we've broken up what we did have, and what we did have was largely broken because it was tribal and divided against each other anyway, instead of it needed a them for there to be an us. And for us to truly go in is to realize we're constantly us versus them, and to heal, which means
Yeah.
giving people the food, the shelter to heal, the space, the time, which means in like creating, which is absolutely growing food together,
I
being
agree.
in community together, and in isolation
but
when needed. Like,
I don't see it happening. I'll be honest. I don't see it happening.
Right.
Definitely.
You're not
Who would you
trying
choose as your
to.
community?
Lou, I'm sorry to interrupt, but
Yes.
you're not trying to see it. You're trying to defend your limited beliefs and what you've conditioned. Okay. I appreciate you. Your audio's not that great today anyway.
Okay, I'm here at
But
my destination anyway, so I'm gonna go sit with like four. Can you hear me,
mm-hmm,
Jack? Yeah,
yes,
I'm just gonna go in and sit with about 7 or 10 Israeli people and a few that have moved from Israel and a few that have been born and raised here, all Jewish, and that all condemn what's happening in Israel. So
blessings.
don't think that I don't know what you're talking about, uh, Jubilee, because
Now,
again,
Thanks for sharing that.
no one can do anything that we don't allow. We use their money. We use their when they put out a some kind of government grant. Everybody takes it. During COVID, everybody took the money, right? Everybody
Lou,
takes the welfare. Everybody takes the military money. Condemn the
hey,
military, but
Lou,
take their money.
I don't
You
think you
know,
have a point
it's
again.
that's where the problem is.
Okay, thank you, Lou. I love you, brother. I've been
I think the
patient.
solution, can I talk, Jack, about solution?
Please,
The
please.
solution that we all touched on is in seeing the individual and coming together to make actual improvements and solutions for the individual, not demand the other individuals and other groups be what I want them to be or be what everything uniform. Actually, the individual. Someone asked if I'm for whatever I'm for all children, including our inner traumatized children. Children of all generations, mostly the ones to come. 7 generations down that we're yet to meet, will never be alive to see. Those children.
Jubilee, we're on the same page. And I know Lou cares about children too. There's many people are, yeah, no doubt. I'm not saying what he was saying didn't make sense. I'm saying that it lacked relevance to what I'm hoping to accomplish here. Because there was something that was said that I wanted to swing back to. Recently, our friend Snafu, he recently hosted a conversation, not to promote chaos, but I see a good thing. He hosted a conversation about a guy involved with restorative justice. Not every case and crime fits the idea, but the idea behind restorative justice is you bring the victim, the perpetrator, and the community together to try and heal, right? To try and bring you offering support to each other rather than just the systems and the prisons, right? So these ideas of helping each other learn and overcome, helping each other find forgiveness, helping each other grow. And many people, when they do screw up and they're given a chance and the support, many people who do screw up turn around and become inspiring messages for others. And I'm hoping that's what's happening with me. But the idea I have is communication and education. That's the solution for our world. Because I truly believe all of us face similar problems, the same problems in different ways, but anyone, given the right tools, given the right support, anyone can accomplish what anyone else has done. We are all capable of far more than the society has really produced.
Exactly. I mean, I think anyone, what Lou had said about growing food, and I'm saying we should do it together, and he's gotten to something where he's getting together with people and doing something in the real world. You do a version of that here, which is very powerful I can only tune in so much because it gets so loud and chaotic. I do a version on my channel, especially or what I was doing with peer coaching and solution raising. And I forgot what point I was making. Sorry.
Building community, I think, is where you were going.
Yeah.
that
Can
having
I jump
people
in? Go ahead.
get together and have conversations about creating a better world creates a better world.
Yes, it's a start.
It's
Start.
it's the getting together and having the conversation. Just thinking about it in your own head might make you feel better and might make you therefore take more action to create a better world, but you actually have to take the action. Having the conversation is taking the action. Getting together weekly with people and growing food together or eating food together or talking about a crisis in the world you care about. Doing things together, and in so doing, learning to work with people who are different than us is part of create. Like, so many of the problems we have, it's so overwhelming because it's everything all at once, because everything has been band-aid solution upon band-aid solution. But there's 8 billion of us.
Right.
Intelligent, beautiful people who want more to come together than to be divided. But we've been divided because it's us versus them in every single one of us. And the only thems we need to get rid of are the billionaires, and we don't need to get rid of the people that are the billionaires.
System.
They're still valuable. They're still, Elon Musk is doing his part, playing his role, doing exactly what God put him here to do, which is showcase to us how broken society is.
That's
and
it.
How much we need to come together and create the solutions, grow the food, not demand other people grow the food for less than minimum wage. Grow the food together because it's a gift to grow food. Not the slug, not the ox and the, like, to get to grow food and make food and eat it together is life.
It is.
Like, to celebrate, to be in festival, to be in creation and culture, and not spend our human ingenuity at war.
That's the key. Life. Sorry, I could keep going on that, but Tarek's been waiting patiently too. I want to.
No, you're fine. I can wait, Jack. You can go ahead, finish your point. I can wait.
I've been playing with this idea. What if, right? Earth, life, it is the devil's playground. One of the thoughts I was thinking earlier is I played much of my life lukewarm. I thought I could get through life without really giving attention to God, or, I wasn't worshiping the devil. So I was just lukewarm. Sometimes I was good. Sometimes I was bad. Well, I tell you what, man, God is worthy of our time, attention, our trust. Because in the end, if we don't care, if we don't have faith, who's at risk? Us. If we don't have strength or courage or compassion, who's hurt? Not just us, those around us. And what Jubilee's saying, the idea of community, it is so important. My life, if you can understand me, you can learn the lessons that I've learned. Truly, the topic, surrender for freedom, it's surrendering attachment to the world, allowing the world to be as it will be, and having faith in you, faith in greater things. Because why not us? What if God is waiting for mankind to demand the return of God, the day of judgment? Those of us who are honest and authentic, we have nothing to worry about. And if we celebrate and we're faithful to love, I think we'll work out all right. What if? What if we are the generation? What if it's possible that, well, I've convinced myself, truly my life and my testimony, when the world started rejecting me, my faith in God started growing. And as my faith in God started growing, I saw myself doing different things. And seeing myself doing these different things, brothers and sisters, who I am today, I'm going to go big for just a moment. I love you guys. Thank you. Who I am today, in this house, in this body, same car, same community, I went from a man who was praying to die. I was so afraid of failure. I couldn't live. And that since I didn't know how to live with this fear of failure and, you know, the desire for survival was painful to me, I changed. By the grace of God, God allowed me to discover there's different ways. There's different ways of living than the way I used to know. And who I am today, I'm no longer afraid, right? I took this serious, this live without fear. And I found I love to live with love. But who I am today, this scared little kid has grown up and I'm figuring out who I am. I'm just like you and many others. We are children of God. We all want and deserve a greater life for us, but it's time for us to stop lying to ourselves. I stopped lying to myself, and I'm telling you this with a straight face, all honesty. I believe if given the opportunity, I believe if given the chance, I can help Donald Trump and the rest of the American government. I can help us lead the world into peace and reform to glorify the name and the ways of Jesus. All I need is a chance, man. I think all of us, we just need a chance. Thank you, Tari.
Oh, you're welcome, Jack. All I want to say, Jack, is like what Ghibli was saying, and even like what you were saying, even like Lubez was making some sense, but he just got off the subject a little bit. Is like, yes, like eating together, you know, as a community, growing our food, that does bring us together. That is for sure. But the main challenge, I think, just my belief would be all like the brainwashing that's been happening to every single individual in terms of their political view or their religion, faith, or anything like that. That that's usually a divider, and you know, between just the religion, the political, and the different genders, and all that's happening, I think that's the main challenge. How do we come together and not allow everybody to worship who they want to worship and be free and still be able to commune and be together and be happy? That's the main challenge, I think.
It's not as hard as it may seem. Welcome back, Jubilee. It's not as hard as it seems. It actually simply requires us individually to practice self-control. Because when each of us, we're in a place, a safe place, we can agree it's a safe place, we can agree that we're going to have conversations. Well, then if all we're doing is talking, then there's really no reason for people to get upset. We can help each other as human beings speak through the difficult disagreements. We can find the similarities, find the sound wisdom, and we can help each other grow and build. Because sometimes people argue and they're saying the same thing, just explaining it different ways. Right? And I think that's what has happened with many people. Because we do care. We all care.
Yeah, I think we all care.
If
Sorry,
there
go
was
ahead.
ways for people to come and have conversations like this that weren't public, that weren't visible by everyone else, and they had to, you know, take the vulnerability and risk that it is to come up here, but they were matched with people who felt differently or felt the same. Just to talk about things they feel passionately about is important, but to know whether you're talking to people who feel the same or you're having binary, you know, people who are on opposite sides of a debate, for instance, but not get together and argue, but get together and try to understand each other, try to get what the other person sees. Why are people voting? Why did someone vote for Trump? Not thinking you know why, and then putting that on them and treating everybody like that, which is coming from the person, not the reality of the individual in front of them. And that's where, like, putting back in the individual, and I forgot what Tara asked that I was trying to answer, which was how we come together is in conversation, is in small groups and voluntarily, so that we can deal with conflict. And I think a version of that happens here where people are allowed to show up again and again and make asses, do different things, show up in different ways.
Right.
And Jack is big on forgiveness. I think a big part of Vault is that people get a choice in who they interact with. This is Jack's channel, Jack's choice in who he interacts with. Being allowed to say, right, not at my table. Doesn't mean I get to cut you off from food and community, but I'm not getting treated like that. I'm not here. I'm not allowing that on my channel or at my table or wherever that happens to be. Having more allowance of community and connection that isn't like social media gave us like a faux version, I think. We're connected, but we're like then we had to like put on pretty pictures and make it look a certain way because there was all the judgment and all the like, we're much more big on bringing all of our judgment and trauma to online strangers than like our real in-world life families and such, and dealing with that because there's real life consequences. Like they could leave, they could not like us, not see us, which equals death. So the feeling of it, right? Coming together is just continually acknowledge, like a personal choice to keep coming together and keep forgiving what it is to forgive in self and in other. Until you can't forgive and then F off.
We test each other. No doubt about that. People test each other, but people also bless each other. And this is what I realized. How I treat each other really does matter. I want to be remembered as a blessing. I don't want to be remembered as a curse or a challenge or a disappointment, but we don't always control what people think of us. And that's where the interesting development of these online Zoom calls, right? It's public conversations, and it requires a bit of courage in yourself to expose yourself, to share your story online where you might get doxxed, you might say the wrong thing, you might whatever. People are challenging. But I see the miracle behind it. The miracle is the people, the children of God, who are hidden behind, a profile name or an avatar, but we are the life of today that's unfolding. And I used to hate life. I really did. It's because I didn't understand that love is there. Hey, another guest. Welcome back. Look within. Blessings.
Hey, how you doing, sir? I can't stay long. I just want to come say hi to you. It's a great show today. Very
respect.
Very calm conversations. Even Tommy's been calmer than lately. It's amazing, man. You're having a real impact.
He's been calm.
But I wanted to go back. Could I add something to what you're saying real quick?
Please do.
And then I'll leave you. I was having this conversation with Gabe. It must have been last week. You know, brother Gabe. And he's associated with some of the Hebrew Israelites. I don't like to put myself in any box, as you know, but I do. Back to what Tarek was saying about everybody being able to worship each other or worship who they want to worship and get along. I think a perfect solution to that is kind of their philosophy to how they treat each other as gods, small g. Of course, there's the Most High, the Almighty, the Creator, and then we are a part of that God. And I have a personal philosophy myself that the only place you'll ever see God is in the people around you. Because I don't think it's a place you go. I don't think it's somewhere you're going to disappear to after you die. I think it's a state of mind. That's just my opinion. But they do tend to refer to each other as God. So when they see each other, they will say, how you doing, God? I'll respect God. And that's kind of what they're practicing there. I really like that philosophy, because if we were to, in a sense, worship each other, and I don't like the word worship, but relating to what you're saying, respect each other as God, would you go around killing God? Would you go around disrespecting God? It's just a mind state to be in I think is a lot more positive. So great point, Derek.
Hey, and
Thank
with
you.
what you said, how about instead of worship each other, offer reverence, right? Respect
Perfect.
and honor amongst each other. It's the same thing, but and truly, it's our vocabulary and our language. That's what really divides us, keeps us not understanding each other. And it's really easy in our physical and the way we're designed, it's really easy for us to make assumptions, right? Because we've experienced these things similar. We've got ideas and meanings, and it's really easy for us as people to jump to conclusions with each other. But the gift that this online is experienced, the firsthand experience with a Zoom call, especially trying to host and moderate, pay attention, right? Pay attention to the present, because it's in these present moments where the record is being created, right? How we react and how we treat each other, it truly, truly matters. And actually, this is a great segue back into the thumbnail, right? The triggers we develop, the childhood trauma we carry around, it's our responsibility. It's not the world's obligation. It's not their problem to deal with, but it may be the solution. If we look outside of ourselves, we can be surprised by what someone else knows. And I believe if we follow the way of Christ in concept, if you take these ideas, since the 2,000 years ago, the Bible's been printed, produced, it's been missionaries and crusades, the name and the idea have been spread. And so as more people start awakening to the similarities between them and us, we start awakening to the involvement of the divine. We each start escaping the limits of our own consciousness so that we arise into elevated, enlightened ways of being with each other. We are the embodiment. We are the return of Christ. And if you take the words, if we awaken to unite with Christ and with God, we are God's children. And when we're God's children, we're filled with light to offer one another. As we unite together, we become the body. And the body of Christ together, it knows the truth reigns supreme. And so that's what we do. We lead America and the other nation states to lead the corporations and the banking system into reforms. And without secrets and lies, we can overcome these divisions of wealth and authority. We can return power back from the people of influence with wealth and position of authority. We can return power back. It can be redistributed. And I think that's the fulfillment of prophecy as well. When the generous choose to repent and they share what they've earned and acquired, well, then the meek inherit what they didn't actually work for. But we share with each other to fulfill the good part of the prophecy. And the good part of the prophecy is bringing God's kingdom into form here on earth. And in God's kingdom, there's no wars. The light is already won. I'm committed to the light. Jubilee, I know you enough. You're committed to the light. Tarek, I know you enough. You are with the light.
I try every day, Jack. One thing I want to add is, based on what you said in terms of getting all together, and you said it's easy, right? And what Jubilee said, for example, like to get together as a community, food and all that, and I agree with all that, right? But one example I'll give you, let's just like take Palestine and Israel, right? A tiny country, I mean, small, tiny country. They've been fighting for almost 100 years. And I was born in Lebanon, Jubilee. I don't know if Jubilee knows that. I've been through 3 wars when I was young.
what I'm trying to say here, they been fighting for that long, and they have involved so many different countries in that to brainwash people also from different religions, and they still have not came to a peace or some kind of way they can live together. That's what I'm saying. Like when I say it's not, I'm not saying it's impossible. Of course it's not. I just can't. I don't know if the brainwashing is too much, or to take it back. I just don't see it done that easily. And I know we have different views on it. You say it's easily, maybe. I just don't see it that easily, because I think that a lot of these people are brainwashed.
Tarek, there's a real possibility of that, right? I mean, this has been the method of propaganda and state control, leaking out information, offering misleading ideas, keeping people confused. So yeah, there's people involved that, well, here's what I trust. Evil is hidden right now. The darkness, the visible darkness, the selfish billionaire class, they've grown to power. They're leading the world. So the only reason the darkness has power is because it's protected by layers of bureaucracy, protected by enablers in the corporation, in the government. It's secrets and lies, backdoor deals, non-disclosure agreements, oaths of secrecy. It's keeping mankind divided, insane, and at war with itself. We have the potential, and I believe that I don't like making predictions, because everything I thought was going to happen so far, I've been wrong. But I'm not giving up. It just hasn't happened yet. But I see right now, mankind, we have the potential. Those of us who are alive today, March 1st, 2025, if we don't allow the escalation of war and the complete decimation, we have the potential to bring peace and reform to this world. We have the potential to be the generation that interrupts the patterns of war and criminal, industrialized, exploitation. We could be the generation that brings the change.
I think all generations right now alive on the planet absolutely are bringing the change. You had said wealth and authority, and that is the billionaire class, the tiniest of, not 1%, like a fraction of a percent. They have wealth and authority, and both of those things are made up. Real wealth, real resources, real connection with nature. Nature's abundant. There's enough food for us. There's enough us to create the ingenuity that's needed. It's giving the people who have nearly nothing any amount of resources, giving people who feel like they are being completely squished some amount of authority in their own lives, a helping hand in actual help based on the individual base. And that's what happens when we get together and have conversations and actually are able to bring our problems to the village, even if it's a virtual village, is solutions can be created. You can have people who connect, have houses to offer, have land that they want to have, a project idea, have, this is many people's version of leaving the house and going to the town meeting.
It is. Hey, I don't mean to throw a sudden wrench, but we are at the 2-hour mark. Jubilee Tarek, I'm sincerely grateful. I'm feeling like shutting down, and we've got a mystery guest in the back that I'm going to give maybe a moment after you guys. So, thoughts?
No, thank you, Jack, for having me on. It was nice having a respectful conversation. And I would like to say one thing before I leave is like what you said about like Snaps bringing the man Robert that was a lawyer and that was going for the system and not the courts and all that, right? I asked him one question at the end, and Snaps wouldn't let me go on the panel, but which is fine. I asked him like, because he claimed to be a Jesus follower and Christ follower, and I said, "You've been speaking about mercy the entire time, and I totally agree that everybody should get mercy and justice and love." And he is for the death penalty. And I asked him, "How could you be for the death penalty if you believe in mercy and you believe in Christ?" Now, he said that he would agree with the state to allow the state to kill somebody, for example, for whatever heinous crime they did, and then it went a little further. So the reason why I brought that up is because just that belief, I got attacked by 3 people on the panel, for example, and I wasn't able to speak about anything. We didn't have a conversation like we had today. So hopefully one day we can get to a place where we can all talk and understand each other better. And thank you for having me on, Jack. And thank you also, Julie.
Much love to you, Tarek. Blessings to you. My friend, what are your
Thanks,
thoughts?
Jack, for having up. It was a great conversation. My final thoughts are, I think the key is individually to have faith in God and to collectively encourage each other's faith in God. And that is faith in the moment, faith God has it. And that is showcased in true faith, not in demanding it of others. So allowing God to bring each of his own to him in their own way. It doesn't need to look one way. It can look like a different religion, but there's something about faith in God and in the moment that is a meta version of that we can tap into. And when we do, it breaks the 5th wall, but someone else has to explain it because it won't be me right now. Thanks for Jack.
Peace to you. Sincerely. I love what you brought and what you've been bringing. I'm going to toss you to the back, Julie. Thank you. Sincerely. And if you tune in later, the names of most of the people are in the descriptions. I've been getting pretty good about that. And anyway, these conversations have been wonderful because where Jubilee was saying faith in whatever it is, it's going to be demonstrated through how we live. And we only live in the present moment. So your faith, it's going to be realized in the moments of experience. And in the moments of experience, we have a troublemaker, a man with a reputation of being a troublemaker, but even troublemakers sometimes have good ideas. And I've been a troublemaker before, and the guy's been patient in the back for a reasonable time. He's been unbanned, although that reminds me, part of the banning was trustworthiness. So welcome back, Snafu.
I never thought that your blasphemous guest would just shut the fuck up. She doesn't even believe in God.
Let's move on. We're here now.
All right, let's move on. So I did an interview, as Tarek said, with someone who makes those life decisions of do they chair or not? Do they deserve lethal injection or not? I did an interview with a friend of mine who worked both district attorney's office over in Florida, Colorado, many other states. What's hilarious is all you fucktards want to talk shit, but I actually showed you exactly what real optics, people who believe in God and are merciful. Jack, your whole love a buddy, hug a buddy. He went into detail. But what's hilarious is I sit here and watch Tarek, and I sit here and watch Jubilee, both people who deny God and Jesus, sit here cupcaking with your ass. And you don't feel that's blasphemous, Jack Talcott?
Golly geez, man. Choose love, Snafu. Choose love. Hey, regarding your conversation.
And let's be real in your chat. Everyone could look up my public records. No, I didn't rape a fucking young child. We know you're Randy and Venus Cupcake, so let's be real. My public records are public for the audience and the viewers to go look up. They could.
You're public.
I'm just saying, like, you look up TSM's records, it shows he beats women. Hey, you look up. I'm just saying, mine don't show that.
Oh, geez, you're just like a never-ending battle of disagreements. I love you. You test my patience. back to you.
So what did you think about the interview, Jack? What did you think about the interview? Because that was someone who works in the system using God's mercy for the system itself.
I know. That's what I wanted to get back to.
Did you watch the interview with Rob?
I did. Your audio sucked, and you kept interrupting.
My audio sucked, right? Because I'm not a grifter like most of you guys. I don't beg the audience for money or microphones. Maybe you should send me a microphone.
Tell you what, here, I'll promote anything I find of value. I'm trying to find.
Why don't we watch it together? Why don't we watch it together? Because it's all about love and mercy and what the system.
You know what? Hey, thank you. You just made my mind up for me. I was actually considering trying to pull up the link of this conversation you're talking about, and I was going to offer to share it. But you want to be such a disrespectful, ungrateful agent of chaos. Snafu, brother. It's time for you to listen to me, okay? Because the fact you don't see what you're involved with me and others online, the fact that you don't see what you're doing. Tarek, thank you for the encouragement, contribution, and Snafu, you're getting a encouragement to start up a panel. So I think I'm kind of done, Snafu, for today. I took a chance. You want to play this victim and perpetrator game? I win. Your battles are yours. The peace I have is available to be shared. I'm going to start wrapping up, brothers and sisters, because you know what? Snafu wore out his welcome here as well as many other places. But here's the thing, to credit Snafu, some of the videos he shares on his channels, he's relaying other things he's discovered. But I mentioned earlier the conversations, the idea of working in communities for the purposes of restorative justice. That came from the interview that Snafu had with Robert something or other. But these ideas, that's actually what our chapter of Veterans for Peace is involved with. They're in the process of trying to build chambers of compassion rather than the chamber of commerce, have a chamber of compassion in the community to help those in need find solutions and support. Because the world we live in, we are truly blessed. Sometimes it's fine. No, we are truly blessed. And there's people who aren't blessed right now. There's people who are suffering some horrible, unimaginable things right now. Back to the topic that Tarek was discussing regarding the atrocities in Israel. And it wasn't just him, part of the discussion. The atrocities in Israel. Yes, war has been happening. Conflicts have been happening for a long time. But what is happening, I think, is people are becoming numb. What Jubilee was talking about, we're living at a time due to the digital age and the social media. There's examples of these Israeli soldiers doing some pretty sick things, right? Real disrespectful ways of engaging in battle. And I know they're not the only ones. There's many sides of evil to this spectrum of war and violence. But brothers and sisters, here, let's get to the point, and I'm going to wrap up the topic today, surrender for freedom. Oh, before I do that, promotion. In the description is the videos. I didn't end up playing it at all, but this video from Kyle Cease came out today. I found it pretty encouraging. It was a confirmation of what I've experienced for myself, kind of a settling in my spirit, realizing my patterns of anxiety, my patterns of discomfort. Recognizing those is the first way to overcoming. It's all about awareness. And early in the stream, brothers and sisters, for those of you who are tuned in later, you caught up and kind of finding your way here well after the start. I encourage you, if you have time, go back to the beginning and catch some of these ideas. I try to bring forth some real inspiration and encouragement right at the beginning. So check those out. There was a point to where I was going to tie that back in. It was something I talked about earlier in the stream. And yes, please and thank you. Hit the like if you haven't yet. Do the subscribe if you haven't yet, and stay tuned for this future. What I talked about earlier, I did it to myself again. Levels and layers of consciousness. Becoming aware of your individual level of consciousness. Your level of consciousness is found in the limits. When you unite yourself beyond the ego limits, when you press your will and your mind and your intentions into the higher limits, that's where you find the divine mind. And in the divine mind, there are no limits. You align you with the infinite. And when you're with the infinite, what can be harmed? What can be lost? Nothing can be gained. It's perfection embodied in the present. And that perfection embodied in the present is available with you as it is with me. That perfection embodied in the present is the loving awareness of life and all that it brings. I'm going to wrap it up there. Sincerely, blessings to all of you. Thank you again. Until next time, choose love, peace for everyone, and live without fear. God bless us all. Peace.